Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Tit Talk, the most titillating podcast you've ever heard. And I am so excited to have with me today Kite Eden Green, creator, educator, and coach.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome.
Welcome. Nice to be here.
Yeah, I was, of course, researching you, checking you out, and I was like, sex educator. Ooh, I want to talk about that. That sounds like a very interesting topic.
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, when I first started this, I was actually going to school to complete my bachelor's, and then from there, I was gonna continue on to receive, pretty much become a licensed therapist. Hopefully, licensed sex therapist, focusing on everything under that. But I also have a passion to create like a sex education program that's really fun, really exciting, sexy, gets you ready and gets you educated at the same time. Of course, for adults.
Of course.
Yeah. But like I said, I did want to get potentially, become a licensed therapist one day, or just continue on the education path, doing pretty well as it is. But yeah, I do want to expand and really learn and grow. So my sex education and coaching has been all from my own experiences, what I've experienced with others, what I've learned, the extensive research I have done over the years. But also I'm learning every day. And that's what I think every educator really needs to be a great one. It's just to always be open to learning new things, accepting that things are, might not always be what we thought. Things are just so complex, so much of a spectrum between, desires, needs, wants, all of this. And I think it's really important to just stay in that learning space. You don't know everything, and that's
No.
to be. Because if you knew everything, then it sounds like a lot of stress.
I am so fascinated by human sexuality and what people like and why people kind of like it, and that sort of personal kind of journey to figuring out, like, wait, why do I like this? Like, I don't want to say not normal, but this thing that isn't like the mainstream sometimes. Or, somebody who's kind of vanilla would be like, oh, that's super kinky. And you're like, is that kind of kinky? Why do I like that? I'm not sure.
The topic of DP, for some people, it's like, that's
Right.
a thing. And where it's like, can it happen already? Like,
It's so funny when people are like, wait, what is that? I was like, oh, I don't know if I should be the one to tell you.
Productions?
Yes, productions.
Hollywood, I can't help but give my.
Hey, listen, it's on my bucket list too one day. I'm like, I'll get there. I don't know when or who.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know those things yet, but like one day, because like you said, if you're not learning and growing and exploring, then like things can get a little boring. And like, I've always been a big believer in you don't know what you like until you just try it.
Yes.
And then if you're like, I don't like that, you can just move on from it. And at least you can communicate that in the future.
Yes. As long as, you're in a safe, open communication space with someone that you're safe with. I think that you could really explore and do, everything, not feel shame for it. I think shame is only people that are just repressing desires, that, they were taught a certain thing.
Yes.
It's okay to accept what you were taught, but to just still accept that there's other beliefs out there and values and just, understandings of sexuality and the way that people want to express it. And like I was put on earth here because of this, like this. So why is it, I'm a full grown adult woman, like.
You're living your life. Best life for sure.
Yes, very grateful.
Now, did you sort of like, what kind of happened first? You getting into being a creator, or you getting into, the education and coaching? Because I feel like I know I get a lot of questions from fans just like they just want to talk about relationships. And sometimes they're like, how do I get my wife to do that thing? Or how do I make her feel more sexy? Or those are, I get those questions a lot. And I imagine that's kind of, it's like you're almost naturally in a therapist role sometimes with a fan. So I'm kind of curious, like, what was your path there and like what kind of questions you got? And like, do you coach your fans or is this totally separate? Please tell me all about it.
Yeah, so I actually started before all of this work. I was dancing for a few months in Miami before lockdown, everything. And I moved to California to be close to family. And I just already had like a small Instagram for my, like, you know, my regulars, people who knew me that wanted to be, oh, where are you going to be tonight? You know, very small. And then I decided, why not? You know, let's do it faceless. And that wasn't, I have back tattoo. I'm like, no one, someone's gonna be like, oh, there you are. Here I am. You know, I'm gonna do it for myself, for show myself. But yeah, so as a dancer, you pretty much, you know, you are a therapist. There, like people think the VIP room is like, oh my gosh, like, tell me about like, what's happening? Why is your sister, mom? Why are they mean to you? Why? Like, honestly, it's a lot of family drama. Like, I don't want the girlfriends and wives because I, you know, tell them how much they should just love and respect and, you know, what they should do to make her excited.
Yeah.
That's where I really got inspired. Like, I really felt like I was helping people and it wasn't like what people expected. And whenever I tell people, they're like, yeah, sure. Okay. I don't care. Okay. I know what I am doing, what I love. And even if I was doing that, yeah, it's not legal. So I can't do something illegal on camera. So, hey, I might see you on a screen. Anyways, but yeah, so I was already going to school, really contemplating being a therapist. And it just felt like it just went hand in hand. And honestly, my like my role model, like as like a celebrity, would be Meet the Fockers, the mom.
Oh my God, yeah.
Her and Hazel. If you combine those two, that's just like who I want, who I see myself becoming, growing into.
I love that.
Like I said, I'm learning every day. So I wouldn't say I'm a professional. I'm not a licensed therapist. I offer coaching and education from my experience. And, you know, I learn new things every day and I share new things every day. And yeah, I just love every part of it. And it's exciting to really build and grow.
Absolutely. Do you find that is it more men coming to you? Do you get couples? Do you get women?
So mainly I've been focused just like growing you know, fan base, going TikTok live, getting to know people. I haven't been focusing on education. That was something that I did privately with people. They do every single person that is in my VIP room messages. They are asking things. It's not like some people will be getting into like dirty sex talk, and I love that. But most of the time, they just want to know like, hey, I'm having a really hard time like on this dating app. Like, I don't know how to approach women. I don't know how to take the first date farther than that. I don't want to be a creep, and because I really like turned on by her, and like I could see like the struggle. And my big thing, I really wanted to do this one-on-one video chat so I could really talk to them and understand, see their emotions, and kind of see like where they're at. Because I'm really big on that, like body language and really understanding people that way. So I'm figuring out how to do co-streaming, live one-on-one streaming on my VIP room so I can offer it there because I wasn't ready to do a premium Snapchat and juggle all these platforms to offer that intense service because it is a very serious service and it's a high value service as well. So I wanted to make sure I was offering it at the best quality I could. And so, yeah.
It makes a lot of sense because it's, you know their sort of fantasies and what they like, and then they open up to you sometimes a little bit more. And how do they achieve that in their personal lives? And it is so hard to talk about different things in relationships and kinks and things that you like and don't like. And I mean, I think of it as sort of like ripping off the Band-Aid. Once you just do it, it'll hurt a little less like each time. And like, you know, I know men want to be like super respectful, but I do think it's so important to, if there's something you really like and you need, like you have to kind of put it out there and have that conversation. And then if there's something that you're like, this is definitely something I like, but I don't need it from you. But I'm gonna go get it from Kaya online. Are you cool with that? Then, you know, that's also something to think about. You know, people always think of like, oh, you know, this is like cheating, you know, talking to these women. And I'm like, we're doing a public service every day. We're saving marriages. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to get into the debate of whether humans are like meant to be monogamous, if that's like in our nature, or if like porn is a really good way to be able to keep men monogamous. And I'm not trying to give them excuses. Men don't need excuses. But
I agree. Like, oh my, do you consider yourself non-monogamous or poly or any, you know, what box do you check, if at all?
so I've always checked the monogamy box when I was in a relationship. I'm very like, I honestly don't see anyone once I'm with someone. Like, I could see the hottest person in the world. I'm like, oh wow, that's like the hottest person in the world. Cool. Like, beautiful person, beautiful, like soul, beautiful energy. I don't like, I can connect with everybody. It doesn't mean I want to go in bed with them.
Right.
You know? But I did explore polyamorous relationships the past few years. And I did it starting this work because I knew, like, even if I was in a monogamous relationship, doing this, like, even as work, it still is, like, you know, having these connections and relationships intimate with other people. And so that's where I was like, okay, I'm polyamorous, solo polyamorous.
All the terms, I know.
I loved it. I loved it until I was like, okay, now I want a partner. And it was, yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. It is, you know, I am out there dating and I try to be really upfront about my career and that this is something that I want to keep doing. I don't want to go back to a corporate job ever, if possible. Or if I'm going back to a corporate job, it's being in the adult world, like hands down. And you know, when the process of seeing like their brain being like, oh, that's cool, I support that, like whatever you want to do, it's your body. And then they're like, but wait, you have sex with people on camera. I was like, yes, I do, sometimes I don't. And they're like, oh, and that process of them trying to like understand, like, well, how do I date you and what does this mean? And you know, when I've had like so I've been doing this 3 years, and 2 of those years I had an on again, off again relationship, and he was actually very comfortable with me doing this. And he was like, well, he's like, just don't, you know, sleep with anybody off camera and like tell me everything that's happening on camera. And I was like, I can work with this. It was like, does this mean I'm like not exactly monogamous? And like, is that, and I kind of think that is the path for me, like non-monogamous, but I would have to be like, I'm 100% number one. Like, you don't have another girlfriend, like open, like go have fun, like go, you know, to parties, go vacations, whatever. But like, I don't want you like in a relationship with somebody else. I don't care if you're, you know, you know what I'm
at. The same way. Yeah.
So some guys are super into it. Some are like, I don't know if that's for me. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's it. We can talk about this. We can totally, like, if you want to make all the content with me, that'd be cool. But like,
yeah, not everyone into that. You know, some guys don't want to do it, and they are doing that. And I've experienced that too. Also, people with their jobs. You know,
yeah.
Like, if you have a doctor husband, like I'm sure maybe, you know, get a good blurred face in there, and just don't bring it to the office parties.
Right. And I know, and that's why I say to him, like, well, I don't really need your face. Like, that's not a problem. But then, like you said, people get very concerned about tattoos. And I'm like, sweetheart, nobody's looking at your tattoo. They're not looking at you at all. They're looking at me. So, but I do understand the concerns. And it's like a real thing that's impacting dating relationships, because a lot of women started doing this. And now, like, it's like a part of our world, it's a part of pop culture. So, and I don't think it's really going to go away.
Yeah, I mean, you watch movies and TV shows, and like you could see pretty much like more than softcore.
Yeah.
And like I'll be watching, I'm like, wow, like, because like I'm seeing the scene, I'm like, he literally just has a sock, and they're pretty much did going at it. That's I'm happy. Like,
I know. Well, even now in Hollywood, they have those intimacy coordinators now, like sort of choreographing all the scenes that we see now. And there's like this whole new world, like even there, to be like, this is how you make people feel comfortable in a sex scene in a movie or on TV. And like, it's like, oh wow, this is, it's just funny. It's kind of funny and really interesting. And like, okay, this is where we're at, which is a good thing. It's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing for those sets for sure. Even it would be great for any set, but just because like mainly the production crew are not used to those kind of, I mean, sure, they've done them in movies, but that's not like a common thing that they just are like, oh wow, I'm doing a porno.
I feel like this is something you can add to your services, like Hollywood intimacy coach.
Potentially like everyone sounding, because they're not used to that environment. Like to them, they're like, where everyone's like, okay, good, that was a good one, all over her face, yes, like. Can you do it one more time? I know, sorry, let's try.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, that is a question I always ask guys before, if we're going to shoot, like, are you going to finish? Is that part of what we're doing? Because you go to these like content events and collab with people. And I mean, most of the men I think that do this like professionally or bigger creators, like they know their bodies, they know what they're capable of. And I want to be respectful of that, to be like, you tell me what's happening at the end of this, I'll be prepared for it. But I just want to know in advance, because sometimes they're like, yeah, no, I need more time before that could happen, but I can still. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Like, again, just communicating and, setting boundaries and all of that. Now, so studied psychology and sex education, got into dancing. Now, how long have you been doing, being a creator and modeling and all of that?
Yeah, so I've been growing my account accounts, all of these TikToks, and yeah, it's probably been about 2 years officially, maybe about 2.5, just over 2 years. And it's been a great ride. I know that consistency could be more. But yeah, I've really been enjoying it. Before I ever started TikTok, I was really just working with other photographers that I really liked, respected. I saw the Mama MILF group. Yeah. I'm so happy that I'm with all of you wonderful ladies. It is the most supportive place. Just whenever I'm like, oh, I'm not being so consistent, I need to get, on it, I go check in and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm gonna, bounce back on. But
it is
so much stuff, handling a life, handling an entire business. Like, yes, this is fun. This is great. I like, what you see is what you're getting, what I'm giving. Like, but, I have a regular life I have to take care of, so I can't always be here to give that. And so I want to, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm making it possible. I haven't worked with any male talent yet. And this is my first week working with female talents.
Very exciting.
But yeah, I've been just doing solo camming or live streaming mainly, just to grow, really see if this is where I want to be long term. I've always known I wanted to do this long term. Going into the professional mainstream, what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to make sure, dip my toes,
Of
waddle.
course.
Once I'm on my knees, then I'm getting deep. You know what I mean? Once I'm on my knees, all games. Let's go.
I love it. I think, I kind of feel the same way. Like, I see myself staying in this world for sure. And, one of the things that struck me about you when I was looking at your social media is like, you really do have some beautiful photography. And I am kind of a snob because I worked in like corporate marketing. So I know what good photography and good videography looks like. I'm totally spoiled that one of my dear friends is a wonderful photographer. And when I saw your photos, I was like, she's worked with some really good people. And it stands out. It really sort of sets the tone for your image to build off of. So I just wanted to give you that compliment because a lot of people, when they're sort of starting out, it's all phone and they kind of don't know what they're doing and they don't understand lighting and like, or even how to like really, what to do with their bodies. And you just see very naturally in touch with yourself and like how to pose and model and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I hadn't taken pictures of myself, like nude photos or selfies. Like I'm not big on selfies because I have now started doing like 100 selfies because I used to be the one that would just sit there and be like, all right, I'm just going to wait until I get the right angle, the moment, and then boom, But I would sit there and have so much stress, be like, oh, my arm hurts. I'm not doing it. Goodbye. I look like a, you know. But
you have to do that in the beginning. You have to take, 30 photos to get maybe like 5 photos that you might actually want to use. And you have to learn your angles, what makes you look good and all of that. So
yeah,
it takes a little time to figure out.
yeah.
But I'm
And it's that you need the 30 photos, but just like doing things in motion, like that looks so great and natural, but you're not gonna have like the, your eyes are closed, your tongue's kind of,
oh my God. Yeah. Or for me, I'm like, oh God, my double chin. Let's like get rid of that. Like you're so critical of yourself. That's one thing I always say to people too, is like whatever you see and you're critical of is not what other people are probably going to see and care about. So just know that you are your own like harshest critic. Like,
yeah.
don't beat yourself up about it because you
Yeah.
have thousands of fans that think you're beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate it. And I'm so grateful for the photographers that I've worked with and just, my parents for giving me like this life and everything.
Hey, I feel like you've definitely got some things in your future that are going to be unique with all the different things that you are doing. Because even coaching women in this business could be a potential thing where you're like, oh, like you started off solo and this is how you kind of get comfortable with yourself doing this and how you discover, what you like on camera and like building from there with working with your partner and making them feel comfortable on camera and like feel like there's a lot of opportunity there.
Photographers or like maybe now I'm getting into how to reach out to start mainstream and it's been really exciting. Very excited. I literally scheduled some meetings and I texted my mom like, hey, I need to talk to you. Good.
Does she know what you do now?
She like I haven't said the word OnlyFans. I have pretty much just kind of I run, I live stream and I'm kind of like an online girlfriend. Like I just hang out with them all day and like they pay me tips, and then I also teach them about different things and
Okay.
interesting. And I'm like, yeah. And then I text her, I'm like, so listen, I, I just gave it all out to her, what I want to do, what my plan is. Obviously she's a mom. She's like, of course I can't, I'm scared, but fully supportive. It took me these past 2 years of doing this work to get over the fear of, like, I think about, there are people that see us and they love us and I love them too. I'm so grateful for everyone that is here and that follows us, and that supports us in this industry. But, there are sometimes people can get so connected.
Yes. Yes.
I want my family is safe going into this. And so I had the time to understand and know what I needed to do. And I know that she's just getting that all in once. Like, oh no, what do I do? So I'm very happy with her reaction and her support. I'm taking this weekend and then gonna be full on going for it next week.
Gosh, well, I mean, but I understand. You're taking this bigger leap, and eventually, it's better for it to come from you than for her to find out elsewhere. And I mean, at the end of the day, parents just want their kids to be happy. Like, it doesn't matter how old they are. They just like, are you happy with your life and what you're doing? And it seems like you truly love it. So that's really what matters most.
I feel like I'm hiding. I want to feel like I'm open, I'm out, because I am. I'm so open and out. But how can I do that if I'm like my parents don't know that I'm about to, get plugged by.
Listen, my mom doesn't even understand social media really. I've discouraged her from even having a Facebook because I'm like, you're not gonna understand how this works. So like everyone else knows in my life pretty much except for her. And like I tell her I'm a social media consultant.
That's doing for a while. That's what I told everyone. I'm a social media manager. I manage a few accounts. I get I slowly started telling my tax person that really hard. I'm like, I'm a creator media consultant.
Oh my God. One of my best friends from college is my accountant. I've known him for, I mean, honestly, since I was like 23 years old. And so I remember the moment of having to tell him to be like, okay, so when you do my taxes next year, like, I got to tell you what I've been doing. And like, he just had absolutely no reaction. He was just like, okay, make sure you start tracking all your expenses. These are things you can He was so professional about it, even though he's like seen me naked and we hooked up in college. It was just like, and he's married and has a kid now. We're still just very good friends, but like, it was just very funny because he's like, all right. I mean, I don't have any clients that do what you do, but okay.
It's pretty normal job. Like if you compare it to any other performer job, every performer job.
It really is. And that's what people don't realize. And it's like, no, it's a little business. We're running our little businesses. And some of us bigger businesses than others. But yeah, it is a lot more work than people realize most of the time.
It is, yeah. It is a full business. And yeah.
I'm very excited for you to take this leap and do some studio work essentially. That'll be exciting. I'll be like, I got her before she got big, everybody. You could be the second one that I got to interview before they got big. I'm like, yes. Keep getting them. I interviewed Kazumi a little over a year ago, and it was right before she it was like 2 months before she shot with Angela White, and then she just like skyrocketed. And I was like, damn girl, like you made it. You made it.
Yeah.
Well, it'll happen if you want.
Yes. I mean, I very much enjoyed shooting solo amateur content, and I don't plan to stop. I really like it. But the photography, I haven't worked with someone in photography, and I had a shoot scheduled last weekend, but then Wonderful Lady Times, I have to rebook for that one. I want the high quality, beautiful, just what I have to offer. And, I love, being, just having my phone and being like, hey guys, like I am your online girlfriend. I'm single.
Yeah.
I pretty much, I'm very happy with being single. And I realized the only reason why I want a partner is just to make this job easier so I can shoot this.
Yes.
No, I don't need anyone. Let me just do professional. What's wrong with me?
Oh man, I know. I kind of know what you mean. I'm like, it'd be nice to have a consistent, scene partner. That's the way I'll say it.
Say, hey guys, want to join our morning live? Like,
yeah. Well, being in, there are certain areas of the country where it's a lot easier to do studio work and be more involved in the industry. So, I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm like, there's companies here, and there's like adult tech, and there's adult like adjacent companies, but it's definitely not a place to be like shooting for studios at all. So it's always like LA and like Vegas, Miami. I feel like those are the places that I hear people are always like traveling to for different things.
Yeah, pretty much where I spent my childhood. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, I
yeah,
love Miami too because that's where like the companies that like curvy ladies are. So I'm always like, oh, hi. Okay, well, tell me, about your business and let's see what this is about. I haven't really done anything for a studio. I like sold a video. I've sold 2 videos that I was able to make at home, which I feel like is kind of different because you're still in the privacy of your home, which makes it different. Like,
the whole team full, or you know, uh, you're not getting paid by the studio, and they're not, it,
yeah, like I still have control over every aspect of it.
yeah,
So that's
I,
the part that I really like.
yeah, that's the best. And like I said, if I was working with male talent on my own, if I'm gonna do that, I want a partner of mine.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I want to go professional because of the testing requirements. I'm not
Yes.
like, I really want that to be like a primary. And when you're working more on the amateur side, it's definitely important there. But it is easier just to get into more situations. I just, because everyone in my inbox is like, hey, I'm a creator, let's shoot together.
Oh, trust me, I know. And that's why again, it's like guys come to me and they're like, oh, well, I would make content with you. I'm like, okay, well, part of the process is that you have to go get tested. You have to sign a waiver. You have to give me a photocopy of your ID. I have to take a picture of you, upload it to a whole bunch of websites. And then they're like, oh, and I was like, right. And also, there's no guarantee that's going to be quality content. It's because you're not used to doing this. So I prefer to only work with male creators who understand the process. And if I have a good experience, I'm like, great, I can work with you again because everything was great, everything went smoothly. So yeah, people don't understand that like it is very professional behind the scenes and all of that. And like when you start talking about that with somebody who might want to be romantic with you, not just like working with you, it like sucks all the romance out of the conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Filmed a small thing just as like a practice thing with one person I was dating, and they were mad the whole time. They're like, I just want to just do this. Like, can we stop like
Yeah.
fixing? I'm like, no, I have to get the right angle.
Yes. you
Like,
you have to be patient. Yes.
what are you talking about? He's like, can we just, but this is so, I'm like, I know it's good, but wait until we get to watch it. It's gonna be amazing. Like,
Yes. Oh my God, I totally relate. And that is definitely always a challenge to be like, nope, you have to understand I'm going to be in director mode. Like, you don't know what you're doing, and I'm in charge. And this isn't about your pleasure. This is about like how it looks and all of that. And a lot of people don't like hearing it. So, I'm very sort of vocal now about being like, I want a partner who is interested in potentially doing this with me or supportive in other ways. And it's just on board in general with it. And I know that special, porn husband is out there somewhere for me.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I feel like we could just keep talking about all these things, but we are going to go have a sexier conversation right now for our fans.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you give her a follow. Her Instagram is right there on the bottom. And what is your website again?
www.kayagreen.tv.
So make sure you go follow her. You will see some very beautiful photography immediately when you go to that site. And make sure you click the link in bio so that you can watch the second half of this interview. Bye, y'all.
Bye.